Hey world, 9 minutes motivation at 9 a.m. is inspired by me and sponsored by Happy Customers. Happy Customers keeps your customers happy. I am Deepak here, and my life is beautiful and I stay on top of the world because I work as worship. Now, there are times in life when we know everything, we have all the knowledge, we have all the skills possible, fabulous attitudes, all the expertise, all the practices done, but just something lacks. And I think that's one thing which is the most important part in anybody's success or failure. All things are there, everything is there. You're experts, you're practiced, you are maybe even a genius, and you just know everything about that aspect of life. But still, there's one thing that misses, is very important, and that one thing is something that cannot be logically put into any one of them or can be explained to anybody and cannot be even expressed to anybody. So here was this battle going on the field, typical wars, and two generals of different commandments were discussing the strategy for the day, that how are they going to take the war forward from here, because things were not going in their favor. And a lot of these discussions were happening about the strategy. So one of the officer, who was actually very frustrated because of the war, said, "What is the point of your strategies? We all are well versed with everything about warfare. Everything is destined. Everything is destined. All this will not work." I was so frustrated. The general looked at him with a lot of surprise and asked him, "You really think everything is destined?" He said, "Yes, of course. Otherwise, how we are going on not succeeding in all these days in the war? Things are not going in our favor. How today only your strategy is going to work and we are going to win the war?" Usually in the army it doesn't happen that questioning happens like that. But since when you are in downfall or things are not happening in your favor, you are back to back getting setbacks, then even the kings don't mind to listen to anybody who's willing to give suggestion. And here was this officer frustrated. He said, "Of course, everything is destined." So army general put hand in his pocket, removed a coin, and said, "So you mean everything is destined? Then if I toss the coin, if it comes head, we will win, and if it comes tails, we will lose. Is it like that?" The officer said, "Yes, of course." So immediately the army general tossed the coin and said, "You see what has come." And the moment he opened the first palm, and the officer said, "Hey, heads!" Which means what? The officer, "Of course we are going to win today." And the officer ran to the entire battalion and told everybody the good news that today we are destined. In fact, God also wishes that we will be winning today. And there are different kind of enthusiasm, different kind of excitement. There was exuberance, vibrancy. Everybody was back with energy. I said, God's wish means what? Today is going to be our day, and we are going to definitely make it through the day. And there was a different zeal, and with that entire enthusiasm and newfound energy that they are going to win today the war, they started fighting. And it so happened, in next 1 week's time, they actually won that war. After war was over, everybody was celebrating, and the army general called up this officer in front of everybody and said, "So, look, the God's wish came true." And officer said, "Of course, I told you we were destined to win the war." And then general added, "Do you really think it was God's wish? I think it was my belief and my wish that we will be winning the war." Officer said, "Really? In front of me only you tossed the coin and you told if heads comes we will win the war, and if tails come we will lose the war. Didn't you?" Officer said, "Of course I did." Then he again put the hand in his pocket, removed the coin and handed over to his officer, Officer took it, and to his shock he saw both the sides there were heads. Both the sides there were heads. The idea of this example to all of you is, even when you know everything about the warfare of that field, even if you're expert, even if you have practiced the same thing for quite some time, sometimes it is the lack of belief which doesn't allow us to move forward, go with energy, go all out to give everything that we have. It doesn't happen. I'm not talking about the people who are newcomers in the field, that yes, I can. I'm not talking about those people, that you are fresher and you have to really put everything in that faith, in that belief, in that hope. No, I'm not talking about the freshers. I'm talking about people who have been veterans in their field, people who have been practicing, people who have been working, people who have been doing business for years together, decades together, and somewhere when at that middle of that career, maybe 5 years later, 10 years later, sometimes 20 years later, sometimes 30, 40 years later, the spirit gets little shaken up, and somehow they feel, we have everything, we have experience, we have expertise, then why we are not able to make an impact, why we are not able to succeed, why victory is evading us still. And there somewhere that self-belief is a little shaken up. This is for those people. At times, even if you know you have the best of the resources, even if you know your resources are the experts, experienced, still somewhere that lack of belief, lack of self-belief, if it is not there, if it is shaken up, you will not be able to see the desired results in life. Somewhere, if that belief can be there, like what the army general was able to instill, cannot be explained, cannot be expressed, but somehow, somewhere that it might be actually, if you ask me, tossing the coin, he keeping the coin both sides head in his pocket, and that time, right time, tossing it, actually I will say it was a divine intervention. Sometimes there is this divine intervention, sometimes there is a simple hint which comes from life or from somebody that yes, it's possible, and if you're able to capture that time or catch that time, I think you just can turn the tables around like nobody's business. Look for those signals, look for those hints, look for those moments. It just happens in a fraction of a moment. It may be one experience here, one moment here, one person here, one trigger here, some element comes and triggers something and gives an input just to reinstill that self-belief back into you, that yes, you can do it. And after that, it's just the magic of time. It's just that you have to wait for the time to things happen in your favor. So in case few of you, sometime or somewhere at some phase of life, even after knowing you have been producing phenomenal results, suddenly there has been those phases where you feel things are not happening in your favor. It's not that there's lack of expertise. Of course, there must be some upgradation required, some updation required for you to improve upon your skills or upon your attitudes. But more or less I have seen, it is that self-belief. A classic example all of us have seen is Indian cricket team. When recently they went back to back 2 losses and they're out of T20 World Cup, somewhere everybody lost the belief that this team can do something. But the way it has bounced back in recent weeks is phenomenal. It's all about, they may have lost the matches, but not the belief that they are the champions and they can play like champions. And that's the only difference that happens. Even champions also get their belief little shaken up sometimes, but it is momentary. If somebody can just reinstill back, I think you're back on track, back with flying colors, back in the world. With this belief that we will keep reinstilling our self-belief in ourselves, in our work. Let's start this day. Here we go, together. I believe I can, I believe I am, I believe I can. So guys, go, set and grow.